Welcome to another edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto, Willies, your host. Today I'm honored to be once again with Celinda Lake. Celinda Lake is the, I guess, what would I call it? It's Chief Executive Officer of Lake Research.
I'm one of the partners of Lake Research Partners.
Lake Research, one of the partners of Lake Research Partners. Anyway, I have a few questions about you. Beforehand, let me ask you, what are your thoughts about where we stand right now in our current country?
Oh my goodness. Well, we stand smack dab in the middle of fascism and think that we are going to be able to keep it from happening, and it's already happened.
Let me stop you right there. You're the second person that sat in that chair and didn't pull any punches. You just said we are already a fascist country.
Yeah. There's no question about it in my mind. Where votes are being overturned, politicians are picking voters, militarization, budgets are being kept, people are being thrown out of office, and people are being kidnapped and abducted with no due process. And politicians are talking about staying in power forever.
Is your polling telling you that people believe that?
My polling is telling me that a remarkable number of people believe that, and we now have 51% of the voters who think that Trump is not your ordinary conservative leader, that he is a different kind of authoritarian conservatism. We have a base that strongly believes that, which is about a quarter of the public. And then we have another 40% of the public that have some of the attitudes but still have to be convinced.
Now, there are some countries where authoritarianism is something that they want. Is that something Americans want?
Well, yes and no, right? I mean, Trump portrays it in a way that has had some appeal, like stability and security, a good economy, othering of other people, tapping into racism and misogyny. But a lot of people are finding out it's not what they thought it was going to be. And for example, this is clearly Trump's economy now, and it's a failing economy. It's failing working people. It's great for billionaires, but there are not too many billionaires out there. And people are really starting to reject the way that he is doing human rights violations, deportations, abductions, kidnappings, and separating families.
Now, one of the things that I tend to believe is that somehow we are not getting the narrative out right. And a lot of people want to say, oh, it's not narrative, it's not narrative. I do believe it's narrative. I want to pass a few things by you. The people that are most going to be affected by this new Trump economy are people in rural areas. And as your polling has always shown, that is where his base really resides. My contention is that things like there are a lot of hospitals are going to close. A lot of social security offices are going to be closed or understaffed. And one of the things that I don't think we see people on the left, people in the middle do is go into these areas with banners and signs and media. And the mainstream media may not follow them there, but there's a lot of alternative media that would follow them and do that. My question is that something that you think people, first of all, is it something that you think the people in rural areas will start to acknowledge and accept the notion when, let's say, Democrats and folks on the left go into their neighborhoods and say, this was caused by your Führer?
Well, I think that, first of all, we're starting to see some opportunities in rural America. We've been hemorrhaging rural votes.
Right.
I actually grew up on a ranch in Montana.
Really?
So I know the rural vote. I love the rural vote.
Right.
I don't think we can send people into rural communities. I think we have to tap people in rural communities.
I like that. I mean, actually, one of the things that I've been advocating, and in fact, I hope Beto stops by when we talk about it, and I was going to bring this up to him and saying, why aren't you guys out there in these other places? But I think what you said is actually what needs to be done. You have to grow the people that are within the community.
And they're there.
Right.
I mean, people know their rural hospitals. They know this is being cut back. I grew up my entire life without health insurance until I went to college.
Right.
My family couldn't afford health insurance. And I remember sitting at kitchen tables where people would say, well, at least Joe's on his next birthday is going to be eligible for Medicare. This is not a joke to cut back health care in these families. People lose their farms over health care debt. Veterans benefits being cut back. Social Security may be the only retirement you have. Crops are rotting because there's no labor. Cows are not being milked because there's no labor. This is just, it's criminal what's happening in rural America. America, and we don't seem to be in touch with it. Right to repair. You can't even repair your $150,000 combine in the middle of crop being harvested. You got to wait for John Deere to come and repair, even though you know what to do. So I just think...
Wait. You just lost me there. Explain.
If you have a car that breaks down, you
Right.
have the right to repair your own car. You can get the parts, whatever. If you have farm equipment, the farm corporations have said you have to sign an agreement that you will not repair it yourself. You have to call the distributor. It's called right to repair. You have no right in the middle of the field, in the middle of the crop, even if you know what to do, to repair your own damn combine.
Let me tell you something, Celinda. I wrote in that book, as I see it, about patents and not only patents, but how the seed companies are making
Yes.
seeds that cannot be duplicated, etc.
Terrible.
I've just learned something from you today. It needs to be in the next
It
edition.
needs to be in the next edition. It's absolutely part and parcel. And this is the conversation farmers have to have with farmers, and ranchers have to have with ranchers. And they want to keep their kids. They want to have good schools. We just beat vouchers in 3 states. Everybody
Texas,
always
yes.
Texas, Nebraska, and we always start Kentucky. We always start these campaigns in urban. We didn't start in urban. We started in rural states because we said there are no alternative schools in rural
Right.
states. You need good public schools
Exactly,
in
because
rural
nobody's
areas.
going to build a private school where there isn't the population to support it.
No. I mean, like when I grew up, and my parents drove us 25 miles to school. We were beyond the bus line. There was no private school. The Seventh-day Adventist Academy. There was no private school alternative. We needed good public schools if our kids were going to go to college and have good
Wow.
careers.
Exactly right. So again, going back, it seems like I think you validated what I've said with a corollary, and that is, yes, we need to go into those communities, but we have to have at our side local people that are actually the ones that people are aware with. What else should, first of all, do you see, and I know it's many times it's hard to, do you see the party doing what's necessary and fighting the battle that it needs to fight in the form it needs to fight?
No. I think we need to ramp it up. I do think we have a narrative problem. I think we have an organizing problem. And I think we have this terrible divide, which is ridiculous, about whether we're going to offer an alternative or just roll over. You can't beat something with nothing. We need to provide an alternative vision. And our party's very badly divided on that.
It's interesting because I think the person that the party least wants to support is the person that most gets it. Mandami in New York. And
Totally.
a lot of people, they may try to bring up all the issues. They may bring up the racial issue. They may bring up the anti-Semitic issue, which isn't true.
Totally not true.
It's not true. And all these other issues. And I feel, and I don't know if this is what you feel, I feel that the National Party is cowering and not doing what they should to support this guy and use this guy as a template of what needs to be done throughout the country.
I totally agree. He's been stronger on the affordability agenda than we've seen any politician on our side be for decades. But more to the point, Democratic voters picked this person. Democratic Party operatives should not override Democratic voters.
And they're the ones that they wanted lost badly.
And outspent the
More
one the
than
people
2-1.
wanted.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's
Yes.
outrageous.
And now, so what's the solution?
The solution is we take back our party, we organize, we elect people like AOC, like Mandami, like Keith Ellison, who
Right.
is here.
I've been speaking to him since he came, yeah.
And we stand for we stand up for people, we stand for our vision, we offer a vision, and we organize at the
Right.
grassroots level.
Well, look, Celinda, what should I have asked you that I didn't?
Let me say that you did ask this question, but let me provide an additional answer, which is part of our problem is campaign finance reform.
Okay.
Our party is as bought as their party is.
Right.
And as long as pharma has their, claws into our party as they do into the Republican Party, we won't get prescription drug prices down. We need campaign finance reform. No matter what your issue is, you've got to fight for campaign finance reform, or both parties will be bought.
Celinda Lake, thank you so kindly for
Thank
having
you.
been on Politics Done Right.
Thank you, and you do it right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All of our country's problems, from polarization to ignorance on domestic and international issues to a complete misunderstanding of our economic and healthcare systems, are a direct result of a derelict mainstream media that too often bend over backwards to support corporate or bought politicians' wants as opposed to the people's needs for real information to make their lives better. Independent media is the only solution to inform truthfully and factually. Why? Because our loyalties are to you, the ones who fund us with small dollar contributions and subscriptions. Please consider supporting our independent media platforms by subscribing to our Egberto Off the Record newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It's an investment that pays incalculable dividends.